What's up guys, ATCG here. Welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck of the Day. Today we're profiling one of the decks that came out from Ignition Assault. It's the one that most people are excited about because it's a new TCG exclusive one. We still don't know how good or bad this deck is going to be, so people are experimenting with it. Right now, Plunder Patrol is in a weird spot because it's off to a promising start, but it doesn't have a lot of cards, so it cannot act as a deck of its own, at least not yet. So we have to wait until Eternity Code to see what kind of support the deck is going to get, so we can have a full picture of how the deck is going to function, if it's going to be good or not. But now it's a kind of a deck that you can combine it with any kind of deck or archetype that doesn't really need its normal summon, and it can act as an supplementary engine to be able to do a little bit more. So I'm combining it with Nekroz, so I present to you the Plunder Patrol Nekroz deck profile. So let's begin. We have 3 Whitebeard, the Plunder Patrol Helm. Out of the 2 main deck monsters, this one is the much better one because if you discard it, you can special summon one from the deck, and all the Plunder Patrol monsters have the effect that you can tag them out for a ship that has the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. Right now there are only 2 ships, but I'm pretty sure that we'll get at least 1 fusion ship in Eternity Code, but until then we'll have to work with what we have. So that's why Helm is the better one, because it has a better discard effect. Now we have 3 Redbeard, the Plunder Patrol Matey. I'm pretty sure this card is cuttable if we get better support, because the only thing it does is if you discard you can equip it to a monster you control. But it still has the tag out effect. It's not bad. They're both level 4, which is a good thing if you're going to go for an Xyz play or something. But they are not that searchable because they're fiends. If there were warriors, it would be a little bit better, but you still have the field spell to search them. But since we have only 2 main deck monsters, you have to max out on both of them. Now for the Nekroz engine, 3 Bryonak, of course, searches all your Nekroz monsters. 2 Clauselas, not 3. 3 is a bit cloggy because you have a lot of ways to search whenever you need it, and if you already have the ritual spell, then it doesn't offer that much of a purpose. 1 Unicorn, of course, because it shuts down a lot of the extra decks and also can recover one from the grave. 2 Trish, 2 because when you have the one you want to make sure it resolves, you search the second one, so if your opponent Veilers it or impermanences the one you summoned, then you can use the other one from the hand to negate the targeting effect. And 1 Valkyrus. Valkyrus is not nearly as important as he used to be back in the day, but he's still a good card to have if you get into a grind game and you need to stall for a turn, or if you have dead monsters in your hand that you don't really need at that time, so you can tribute them to try to dig for more cards. And 1 Shurit, because it's a searchable full tribute, sometimes it comes up. Again, same thing with Valkyrus, not as important as it used to be, but still a pretty good card to have, and when it's tributed you can search a Trish or your Bryonak. I also play Dangers because the field spell does require you to discard a card, so it has a lot of synergy with the Dangers because you minimize the cost of discarding a card by just using the effects of the Dangers. So we have 1 Nessie, because unfortunately it went to 1. 2 Jackalope, which is actually better in this scenario. Same thing with the 2 Tsuchinoko, because these 2 special summon monsters, so that's what you need when you have a Plunder Patrol, so you can get to your Link monster, because it needs any 2 monsters that include 1 Plunder Patrol, so you can use a Danger with it. 2 Bigfoot, and 2 Thunderbird. These 2 work because you try sometimes to go second. I'm not convinced whether this deck wants to go first or second yet, because Nekroz always tends to be more of a going second deck because it doesn't have that many superb things to do going first. So by being able to discard your Thunderbird and your Bigfoots with your shipyard, you can pop your opponent's cards to try to gain some advantage. Now for the spells, 3 Plunder Patrol Shipyard. Good job on this Pankanami, good job. So by discarding a card, you get to add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. It boosts all your Plunder Patrol's monsters by 500 for each Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap zone. Right now, you can most likely have 2 minimum if you have the trap card, but if you have a lot of multiple copies of the trap, then you can have a bigger boost. And also it has an effect like Babel, where it's in the graveyard, you can target 1 Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap zone, and set this card and turn the other one to your hand, so you get to bring back your Plunder Patrol booty and reset that card from the grave. So it's also really good if your opponent tries to deal with it. And 1 Terraforming, of course, to search the card, because it's actually a really important field spell for the archetype, as it searches all of your monsters, the not so many monsters you have right now. For the ritual spells, 2 Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope is by far the best ritual spell of the deck because it helps you get more searches, pop cards by sending the appropriate monsters from your extra deck to the grave, and it also usually summons Unicorn, which is the most important Necroz monster you want to have on the field, especially going first, so you can lock your opponent's effects from the extra deck. 1 Mirror. This is usually used to summon Trish. If you just banish your Shuri from the grave or Brionac and Clausulas, you can get a level 9 and summon Trish to be able to push through the game, because as long as Nekros is not Trishulling you, then it's probably not the best spot, but if it resolves, then I think this is how Nekros starts snowballing the whole advantage thing. And 1 Cycle. This is usually to sacrifice the Shuri from your hand so you can get a search and special summon from the grave. You can bring back Clausulas, which is also a pretty decent disruption by negating a monster from the extra deck and making its attack 0, or you can bring back Brionac to try to spin your opponent's extra deck monsters, or of course you can bring back Trish if it's already been used prior to the game. 3 Preparation, of course, because it's Necros, you search your Brio. 1 Rhoda to search your Colossus or your Shuri, depending on what you need. And the drop card, Plunder Patrol Booty. This is actually what the deck needs right now, because it doesn't have a lot of attributes to work with. It changes your opponent's attributes. So you need to make them either fire or dark, because these are the 2 monsters you can work with right now. And also, it has another effect that you can take a Plunder Patrol through your graveyard and either shuffle into the deck or special summon it. And it's a pretty okay card. It's better than running cards like DNA Transplant, where you can just try to switch permanently all attributes on the field so you can work with that for the rest of the game. It has a downside that it goes to the grave if you control no Plunder Patrols in the end phase, but still, I think it's a really good card. Maybe if we get more attributes in the extra deck, we won't need to run it, because we can work with whatever our opponent is playing, but right now that the deck has so few cards, we need to run a card like this to be able to use our effects, in case our opponent runs a deck that doesn't have a single monster from the attributes we have so far. For the extra deck, 3 Plunder Patrol ship, 2 Plunder Patrol ship Mork. This card is the better ship because it banishes monsters. And it also, for the ships to work, you need to discard a Plunder Patrol card, and that's the problem right now. They do search you a new card. This one, you discard a card and you search for a trap. But the problem is that not only do you need a Plunder Patrol monster to get on the field to be able to tag out into the ship if you cannot summon it manually with 2 level 4s because it's generic, but that doesn't happen, at least not in this deck. But you also need another card to be able to discard in order to use the quick effect that you banish an opponent's monster to be able to disrupt your opponent. And that's the problem, because you don't have enough cards right now. So there are few games where you can actually get to the scenario. And this card also has another effect that if a Plunder Patrol you control destroy a battle, you can attach a material from this card instead. But again, it's not very often, at least not right now, that you will summon this using 2 level 4 monsters. So it has that effect in case the deck actually manages somehow to get good enough support to be able to actually exceed summon this. And this deck also benefits a lot from Master Rule 5. This is not Master Rule 5, it's Master Rule 4. But if you are able to summon multiple ships by not relying on the Link monster to get your arrows so you can have both of them out, then that's actually a great advantage the deck can have. But again, we're not doing this profile for Master Rule 4. This is Master Rule 4, not Master Rule 5. So just think of this as a skeleton of what the deck can do, what you can experiment with, and hope that the deck gets good enough support in the sets to come. 2 Plunder Patrol ship Bran, the Synchro monster. This banishes back row, and you can discard Plunder Patrol card, and this searches monsters. So it's pretty much the reverse of Mork. And 2 Blackbeard, because it's a Link monster you need right now. You need the arrows, because with Master Rule 4, if you want to have both ships on the field at the same time, you need the arrows in order to be able to do it. It also needs only 1 Plunder Patrol to be able to summon, and any kind of monster, so that's why it synergizes with the dangers. And you can also target any monster you control as a quick effect, tag out into one of the ships. Of course, again, the opponent has to control or have in the grave the corresponding attribute, which is why you need the Plunder Patrol trap card right now. For the Kaleidoscope targets, 2 Herald of the Arclight, of course, because you can search any kind of ritual monster spell. 1 NTSS in case you want to pop a card your opponent controls when you summon your Unicorn. 1 Star Eater to be able to summon your Valkyrus and your Clausulas. And 1 Quasar to be able to summon your Trishulus and your Clausulas. Just like the old good times. And I play some Xyz monsters because there are quite a few ways to summon Xyz with the dangers and the Plunder Patrol monsters. So since both the Plunder Patrol monsters are level 4s, in case you can summon one, discard the other with a Shipyard, get one from the hand, from the deck, or summon Unicorn, and it's not the best card against your opponent, what deck they're playing, you can summon these. You can summon a Beast Dweller to lock your opponent's grave, Tornado Dragon if they're playing as a bankroll deck, or Baguska in case it's a deck that completely cannot do anything under Baguska. And I play one rank 8. I play 38 because of the dangers, the Bigfoot and Thunderbird. It doesn't come up too often, but if you open with a hand with both of these, your opponent doesn't snipe them and they get on the field, and especially if you're going first, then you can just overlay them into this and have an extra negate. So yeah, that's the deck. It's a really cool deck. I like the concept behind it. It's actually a deck that feels like a pirate deck, unlike the for hires that we got back in the day that they were supposed to be pirates, but they didn't feel like pirates. So yep, I'm one of those people that is actually invested on this deck. I think it has a lot of potential. It has a very promising start, unlike decks like Dreamier, which just the playstyle of it seemed bad from the very, very beginning. But it might have the Vendred effect where it has a promising start and the rest of the support is very underwhelming. But I hope Konami actually gives us a new tier 1 deck we can play with, because we've been in the same format for such a long time, so I'm just praying that we get something new. So yep, that's the deck. Thank you for watching, guys. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos like this, and we'll see you next time.